Hey everybody. so, um, yeah, this is obviously not a yoga video, but this is the topic of the yoga community, and I really wanted to express my experience with being a yoga teacher and becoming one. So, let's get into it. Hey everybody. so, um, yeah, this is obviously not a yoga video, but this is the topic of the yoga community, and I really wanted to express my experience with being a yoga teacher and becoming one. So, let's get into it. um So I'm of course gonna leave names and everything out. I'm just gonna talk about my general experience, and I just want to I want to help you make an informed decision on whether or not, if you're on the fence about becoming a yoga teacher, hopefully this video will help you. Um, for one, I think that it's great for everybody to become yoga instructors. Even if you don't want to teach, I think it's just a great experience to have. So last year I became a yoga teacher, certified yoga teacher. The training took about 6 months, 200 hours total, and I completed it on Saturdays and Sundays from 9 to 6. It was like every 3 weeks, every 3 weekends or something like that, that we would go. I was very disappointed. I think that not about the training. The training itself was very thorough, and it definitely helped me become a great yoga teacher. Even if you don't want to teach, but it gives you the resources, the tools to become a great teacher. And by being a great teacher is really what I mean is safe. Um, knowing how to transition safely into the next pose, making sure that you're using the right cues, things like that. So that's how I define a great teacher. And of course, someone that is inclusive, amongst other things. But so going into yoga teacher training itself, I think that I had this idea, not I think, I had this idea that I was going to be among people who were doing the work, like inner work. Um, but no, that's not the case. See, me, I'm the type of person, I'm very literal. So if someone's telling me, like, when you go to yoga teacher training, it's gonna force you to turn inward, it's gonna force you to dive deep. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I got therapy on deck. I'm learning how to meditate, learning how to journal, turning things inward, self-reflection, things like that, like doing the work. Granted, I'm still doing the work, but that's what I think of when I'm thinking of a yoga instructor. So that's not what I was met with. It was a lot of egos, and also, we're in America, so yoga is not native to this side of the world. It comes from the eastern part of the world, specifically speaking South Asian people. So to have it here where it's not originated from, in a capitalistic society, the ideologies are not the same. A lot of people are looking for ways to make more money or business opportunities, whatever. But it's not the same. And I really encourage you all to look into South Asian yoga teachers. And I'll put some in my caption as well, link them, because I learn a lot from them as well. Pretty much, yoga has been westernized to adapt to American society and culture. And that, so everything that we already see in America was brought right to yoga teacher training, where the voices of white women were uplifted and black women were constantly criticized. It or our problems were oftentimes minimized, where I would say something like yoga, I want to make yoga accessible to my community. And when I say my community, I am talking about Black people specifically, but also Black and Brown people, because we don't see that in the yoga community. And it would turn from me saying that to like a all lives matter response. Well, yoga is available to everyone. And I would say, well, no, because, yoga studios cost a lot of money. The memberships cost a lot of money. Well, if they can't afford it, then that's too bad. So comments like that, it was just a very tense experience. I will say that the organization that I went through that did the training, I don't think that they did anything wrong. I just think that people going into yoga teacher training just aren't doing the work. So that was my experience. So I told my sister-in-law the other day, if I could redo anything, I might have just taken yoga teacher training online versus in person. But I probably would not have, because I met some amazing people um throughout the process and the training. So I'm not, it's like a double-edged sword. I wouldn't have met the people if I did it virtually, and I probably wouldn't have gained the experience that I have. But also, it's so I take that back. I would definitely redo it. I would, excuse me, I would have probably spoken up more. And I did talk to the owner about my experience. I had a very open and honest conversation with her, and she was very receptive about my experience. And we had a conversation, and I said, yoga is supposed to be for everybody, and if we're in these spaces where privilege is still showing up, then or where we're still uplifting voices of white people while just constantly criticizing the voices of Black and Brown people, we're perpetuating the very thing that we're trying to stop. So she was very receptive to that. We had like an hour-long conversation on the phone. But I will say, within the yoga community itself, excuse me, I am the type of person, I can be very naive. Um, I go into it, I can go into a situation thinking, I don't go into anything guarded. I go into it open minded. But I will say that I have been constantly disappointed with fellow yoga instructors on how they communicate, how to handle things. And I think that I have to remember, excuse me. I think I have to remember that we are humans despite what we do. Like where our passion is, we're still human beings. But when you're in a specific line of work, you kind of expect people to be a certain way. If you are teaching a class about self-healing and being present and showing up for yourself and really being a good person, because in yoga they talk about there's 8 limbs of yoga. They talk about the type of person that you need to show up as, that you need to be, and the work that you need to do to get there. So it's just interesting to me that when I'm meeting yoga teachers, they are regular people, which I'm a regular person, but yoga has humbled me in a lot of ways where I feel I have grown a lot in different areas of my life. And one of the things that I've learned in yoga teacher training is to destroy your ego. So the other day, I was on a fellow yoga teacher's Instagram, and I noticed that she was doing a sunset yoga session on the same day that I'm doing sunrise. Granted, we were friends on Instagram, mutual, following each other mutually on Instagram at the time. At the time. Um, so I just naturally was excited, and I said, "Hey, you're doing sunset and I'm doing sunrise." That's literally all I said. So I went to share the post to my Instagram story, and I noticed that my comment was deleted. And I was like, "Oh, well, maybe I don't know. Maybe it was a glitch in Instagram because trying to destroy the idea of an ego. Whatever." So I shared on my story, and I saw that the person looked at the video or the story because I put the same thing. I said, "Come to me for sunrise and go to this person for sunset." And they didn't say anything, acknowledge it, or anything. So because I had tagged them in it. And I was like, okay, maybe I shouldn't share this. So I deleted it. Well, the very next day, I'm like, okay, maybe I did something wrong. I don't know what I could have done wrong, but I'm gonna ask. So I went to the person's page and I noticed, okay, they had removed me as their follower. They're no longer following me. So I reached out and I said, hey, I noticed that my comment on your post was deleted. Did I offend you? And the person went on to say how inappropriate it was for me to use their platform to promote my business. And I was genuinely confused. First of all, I didn't know that people did that. Like, let's start there. I didn't know that people did that. I didn't know that people comment on people's things to promote their business. I didn't know that. Because yoga is not my full-time job. I do have a full-time job in the school system. I'm off for summer break. I go back to work in the middle of August. So this is really a side job, but I really enjoy it. It's a passion for me as well. So I don't need to promote my yoga business. It's really a hobby that I do. I thoroughly enjoy teaching. I enjoy talking about it. I enjoy meeting like-minded people. I just enjoy it in general. So to insinuate that I'm using this person's platform to promote my business, I was I was I was completely confused. And then I tried to explain to the person that that's not what I was doing, but they had already had it made up in their mind that that's what I was doing. And the conversation didn't go well. I ended up just blocking the person and just wondering to myself, am I really fit for this yoga community? Because I keep having run ins with people. Granted, it's not the same, but I just had a moment where I'm just wondering, should I eliminate myself? Like, self-doubt starts to pour in because for me, I don't do anything that's disingenuous. I move with sincerity. I don't If I wasn't genuinely excited for that coincidence, I wouldn't have even said anything. I was genuinely excited because she had made her post shortly after I had promoted mine, and it didn't occur to me that, oh, let me use this to promote my business. That just seems very malicious, and I'm not that type of that takes a lot of energy. I'm not a naturally malicious person, so for that much thought to go into that, I was like, that's not even where my mind went. And if I was trying to promote my business, I feel like I would have been more meticulous about it. I would have put the date, the time, the location. I didn't put any of that up there. I just simply said, you're doing sunset, I'm doing sunrise. Hey, like, it was nothing behind it. And then I proceeded to share her post onto my story. So how I like that just is mind boggling to me that that would be that person's go to. Like, have you really been used that much in life where you naturally just think that when someone is showing you genuine love and support, you automatically think that this person is trying to use you? I don't need anybody to promote my yoga business. The people who show up for me and come to my class and enjoy my class, they promote it. And they are genuinely, I appreciate them for that. So I don't, like, even with me doing yoga part time, it has taken off, and so many opportunities have come my way in which I've passed on and passed them to another yoga teacher. So my opportunities pour. I am abundant when it comes to this yoga stuff. So I have no reason to compete, to be nasty, to use. I'm not an opportunist because everything flows to me with no problem. That's just how it is aligned for me. Thanks to God, thanks to my community, or whatever, a combination of everything. And for that I'm grateful. But to be misunderstood in that capacity really struck a nerve for me, and it obviously hurt my feelings. So it prompted me to record this video, because I don't want you all to make the same mistakes. Granted, I haven't made any mistakes that's detrimental to my yoga career, but I think that my expectations were too high, knowing that these are people at the end of the day. And we all have work to do, and to not take things personally. See, that the way I reacted yesterday is a prime example of my ego. My feelings were hurt. My ego was bruised because now this person sees me in a different light. And I took it personally, when really I should just let it roll off, because that's not a reflection of me. That is a reflection of where this person is in their life. Um, because if I know that I'm moving with good intentions, then why would that bother me? And I know that I'm moving with good intentions. And the reason why it bothered me is because my ego. So that's a prime example of dismantling your whole idea of having an ego, because I was in my feelings yesterday and I really wanted to take a step back. But this morning I journaled, and something that I said was, I need to stop trying to eliminate myself from spaces I deserve to be in. And I hope that that holds true for you as well. Just because the going gets rough doesn't mean that you should eliminate yourself, especially if it's something that you're getting a great response out of. So many people have asked me about my sunrise yoga. So many people. Last year I did it for like 4 or 5 weekends straight. And this year everybody was like, why aren't you doing it? Why aren't you doing it? I've been waiting. And I wanted to make sure that, it was going to be a good time for me, and I wanted to be able to show up as as my true self, and not be in a bad headspace. So I just really want, I think that I'm gonna circle back. I think that if you want to become a yoga teacher, do it. But also know that these instructors and teachers are people, regular people, and they may or may not be doing the work like you are. And that doesn't speak for the whole yoga community. I think that you just have to focus on yourself and continuing to pour into yourself. I won't stop supporting other yoga teachers, especially teachers that look like me. Um, it's just that was a bad experience, and that's literally one in a million of the experience that I've had with other yoga teachers. But lately, it seems like it has become more common. And I think that it's not a reflection of the yoga community, but it is a reflection of where these people are in their life. I hope this video is making sense. I feel like I started off with one tone and now I'm ending with another, but maybe while I've been recording, I've been processing everything as well. But I really think that if this is something that you want to pursue, do it. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Don't let anybody make you feel like you're inadequate. Um, you deserve to take up space. You deserve to be in this space, and just keep showing up as your genuine, authentic self with your good heart and your good intentions. Of course, hit me up if you have any questions or comments. Feel free to comment below. I'll definitely add the names of the South Asian yoga instructors that I have come across and I follow. They are very informative, and they compare a lot of Western practices to the Eastern practices. And I think that we should really respect the practice of yoga by following the people who do the yoga, or it's a part of their culture. Of course, follow whoever you like, but also respect the practice. Bye.
We just all want to be happy, healthy, and free.